Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the third episode of Shop Talk with the Barber to the Stars. Today we got three-time NBA champion Mario Elie, the Kiss of Death. So we're gonna wait for him to get into the live, and let me see. There he is, right there. Let's bring him in. Wait for Mario Elie, 17. And there we go. Mario Elie,
Oh, we
what's
had
up?
to quit. What's up, baby?
Man, you got a good connection?
Come
How you
on,
doing
man. I got Wi-Fi in the crib, dog. I'm here. What's up?
today? I hear you. So how y'all doing with this quarantine going on, man? I know you got the triplets and your wife and everything, and y'all doing a lot from from the house and homeschooling. How's that going for y'all?
At first, Nick, it was tough, but as you know, we've been out of school for a while. They started doing online classes, so broke down the schedule for the kids, which is like a regular school day. Get them up at 8. Got to walk the dog first, then they start on their schoolwork, and they got the Zoom. Thank God for the internet. You can get
Okay.
on Zoom and take some classes, but it's better being at school. But this is the second best thing. But we've been having the kids on the schedule and having PE, at
Yeah.
12:30. And in the evening time, we're cooking, watching movies, playing card games, playing board games as a family. So this is our new normal. We're sort of used to it. And this is how it's going to be for a while, man, unfortunately.
Well, I'm glad I got you on, man. And so this platform just kind of gives me a chance to let some of my clients and friends and uh, get to know some of my clients because they're always asking, what he like and is he nice? Is he cool? What did y'all talk about? And this is just kind of my way of giving back and letting my clients get to know some of my other clients. But so I know you're from New York. Talk to me about growing up in New York and playing basketball. I know y'all got the Rucker court there. So tell me about your New York basketball like.
First and foremost, Nick, of course, I'm from the city. I want to thoughts and prayers go out for the state, not just for the city. We've been hit the hardest with this COVID-19. So first and foremost, I want to pray for all my family and friends. Still got a ton of family and friends back there. So I want to pray for them. But nothing like it, Nick, growing up in the parks of New York, going to a summer league game when you're seeing 2,000-3,000 people at a game, people hanging on the fences, people hanging from the trees, got the music bumping, got the greatest dudes on the microphone just making jokes. And when guys get dunked on, or if a guy gets stuck on the backboard, or if a guy, scores a bunch of points in a row, gets the crowd going. Only in New York, Nick, that people run on the court in the middle of a game, jump on that player for like 10 to 15 seconds. Then the guy on the mic got to calm everybody down, get everybody back in their seats. Then the game goes on. I mean, there's some games that you couldn't even see the baseline. There's so many people at the game. So that's
Yeah, I've
how big it
seen
was
some
back in
videos.
the day, A lot of street legends, a lot of guys who went to major colleges, and a lot of ex-NBA players played in these environments.
So make me understand now. Is this goes on a day or was it a weekend thing or what?
It was during the summer. So
During the summers.
you had a ton of good. It was during the summertime, Nick, and probably like 2 or 3 games a week. But every team usually had like a named guy. New York is made of 5 boroughs. Manhattan
Yeah.
is the main city. Then you got Brooklyn. Then you got Queens. Then you got the Bronx, and then you got Staten Island. So you have players from all over the city that would play on different teams. And if you had a little name, people would know your name. So it says so-and-so's playing so-and-so tonight at 7. And you get to the park at 6, Nick, it's already getting packed. People try to get their seats. So by the time the game come on, it's packed. You got great ball players on both sides. And it was just hyped in there.
So was it like kind of like word of mouth, passing out flyers that we got a game going on tonight or something?
Yeah, or you hear it on the radio. You know, guys be pumping it up on the radio. Yo, Uptown, what's going on tonight? So-and-so, half man, half amazing against Skip to My Lou. You know, they would really, really hype it up. And also, Nick, one thing about New York, when you know there's a big tournament game going on, you know there's named players playing, that message gets around quick. And the parks get packed like an hour prior so guys can get good seats. So
when did you start going? Did you start playing in high school, college, or not until you got to professional?
We started in high school, you know, like the top high school guys. We just basically had we basically had like 2 great AAU teams, which was Riverside Church and the Gauchos. Like most of the New York pros, myself, Rod Strickland, Mark Jackson, Walter Berry, Ed Pickney, all played on one of those 2 AAU teams. And when they know one of us guys were playing, the park was jam-packed and hyped.
Who were some of your biggest battles against?
Playing against Ed Pickney, Berry, the great Pearl Washington who went to Syracuse. There was so many stories about him, Nick. He was such a great ball player because he had the street type of ball. So like Skip to My Lou, you know him. Guys with great handles in New York. You know, you had to have the great handles in New York. Go ahead.
I saw a YouTube clip of Skip to My Lou going against Steve Francis just last night. I was watching it, and you know, it's crazy how Skip, I guess, had to curtail his basketball game for the NBA because out there in the park, he was doing everything, you know, all kind of moves. And I was like, you know, I didn't know Skip could, you know, make those kind of moves or handle like that. You know, basketball, you got a 24 second. You don't have a lot of time to play with the ball, but he was out there doing some crazy stuff with that ball, you know.
Yeah, there was 2 different kind of Skips, Nick. One in the park Skip, and of course, Skip went to Fresno State. Then to me had a solid NBA career. I think he did make that adjustment. But once you got Skip up in the parks in Manhattan, Nick, he put on a show, boy. He'd be dancing with that ball, hitting the ball off the knee, hitting them with the moves, man. But you had so many guys like Skip, even before Skip, that were doing that, but didn't have college aspirations, who didn't get to make it to the NBA. You got guys who were happy being street ball legends. You know, there were a lot of guys who just had mad handles like Skip, but really didn't go take it to the next level like college or to the NBA. So very proud of Skip, fellow New Yorker. But, you know, he's one of many, Rajland, Kenny Smith, they all had handles, man. That was New York ball players known for, Nick, having handles and getting to the rack.
So in high school, what high school did you go to?
I went to Powell Memorial Academy, which is a condo right now, which was where the great Lou Alcindor, a.k.a. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, went.
Wow.
And myself and Chris Mullin. So those are 3 guys.
Oh, Chris Mullin went there too?
Yeah, Mullin went there too. Then he transferred his junior year to be near his family in Brooklyn. So me and Chris played high school ball 3 years together, man. We had a great team, but he decided to transfer back home to Brooklyn.
So were you highly recruited coming out of high school? How did your recruitment work coming out of high school?
It was a little different back then. I wasn't a kid who really took school seriously. You know, I went to 5-star basketball camp 2 years in a row. That's probably the top camp in the nation at the time. And I'm playing against Pat Ewing, all the letters. I mean, from Oregon, from schools, Florida State. I'm getting letters from all these schools. Huh?
Where did you end up going to college to play?
I went to a small Division II school up in Springfield, Massachusetts called American International. Because I was in a quandary because if a school wanted me, a top school wanted me, they wanted me to sit out a year. And I wasn't liking school like that, Nick. I wanted to get my 4 years in and get the hell on out. I wish I would have did it different, but even though everything worked out, all my buddies, you know, were major Division I players. And look at me being the only Division II guy. So that sort of built my edge and anger when I played, because I felt I was a top 10 player coming out of New York. And out of those 10 guys, I was the only guy that went Division II. So that sort of rubbed me the wrong way, and that sort of made me the player that I became.
So can you name one or two of those players that was, you know, more highly recruited than you and that made it to the league?
Of course, Chris Mullin was one.
Okay.
You had Ed Pinkney was another guy who was in my era. Who else? There was some guy, Curry Scurry, who went to school in Brooklyn, but he only played in the league 3 years.
Okay.
But out of all those guys that I sort of came up with, Nick, besides Chris Mullin, I sort of had better careers than all these guys.
Yeah.
You know, so that's what I'm most proud of. You know, I was sort of a late bloomer. Guys like Pearl Washington, God bless Pearl. You got Kenny Anderson. You know, you got Rod Strickland and those guys. They had great careers. They were highly recruited. But out of the sort of the guys people really weren't paying attention to, you know, 11 years, 3 championships, you know, I think that's pretty darn good from a guy coming Division II.
Yeah. So coming out of Division II, so you're finished with college now, and you have a pretty good college career.
Yeah, I was a 3-time All-American. Got Player of the Year, I guess, 2 or 3 times in my conference. And back then, Nick, there were no shot clocks or no 3-pointers when I played. So I can imagine I had all that. Now I'll be getting 50. People holding the ball for like in AAU, like in Texas basketball. People get a lead and they want to hold the ball for 3-4 minutes. So that's what I was seeing in college. But my numbers were decent. But I was encouraged because you had guys like Oakley, Manu Bowl, Ben Wallace. These are all Division II guys, you know, who went to the NBA and had success. So I felt confident, you know, if I get a chance, you know, I think I could make the best of my opportunity.
So you had to take the hard road, you know, to college, and so you're coming out of college and you're going to professional. What happens, you know, with that?
And it's funny you say that, nigga. That's a great question. Me being a Division II guy, I really didn't know how to prepare for anything like a draft or nothing. I thought if you get drafted, you just go out there and hoop. So I remember being in the park in New York, you know, after I graduated. My mom runs to the park and like, honey, you got drafted. I'm like, really? She said in the 7th round. I was the second to the last pick. There was 162 picks. I was the 160th pick in the draft. Got drafted by Milwaukee. And this is probably the first time, Nick, I felt I needed to be cut from a team because I didn't understand what training camp was. So when I got to Milwaukee, I was a small forward in college, Nick. So when I got to the Milwaukee Bucks Summer League camp, I was the second shortest guy. So I went from playing a small forward in camp and Don Nelson say, you're a point guard on this second team. So I'm like, man. And the practices, Nick, with 2-3-hour practices a day. So after that first day, Nick, I really couldn't even stand. My legs were shaking. My legs were so sore. I spent maybe an hour and a half in the hotel pool just trying to get the soreness out my legs. So I said, so man,
that had to be hard.
I needed a lot of work, huh?
That had to be hard for you because you know, you're one of your best parts of your game was your jump shot, And so, you know, with that, all of that training, taking your legs, I'm sure that had to be hard for you, huh?
It was hard just to make it through practice. I didn't understand the pro level, what it took to prepare for a season or to
Mm-hmm.
prepare just for a summer league. So but that's probably the first time when Don Nelson called me later that week and said I was cut. That was probably the happiest I've been. But that sparked something in my mind, Nick, that I needed to work a lot harder.
Yeah, you
And
got you got a taste of it,
yeah,
and
I got a
you
taste of it.
understood. Okay, this is what I got to do now.
I got to work on my handle. I got to work on my jumper, and I got to work on my conditioning and getting stronger. So that's why I chose the overseas route. And when I was ready, you know, I went to the CBA, and then everybody knows the rest of my story. The rest is history.
So talk to me about some of the teams that you played for early in your career before you got to the NBA overseas.
Well, my first stop was a USBL, which was a summer semi-pro league, was called the Miami Tropics. So I played down there. And then I went over to Argentina to play for a season.
Mm-hmm.
Then I came back. Then you have the 6'5" and under league, which I played, which for the Youngstown Pride. We won the championship. The funny thing about that league, Nick, is there were guys 6'8", 6'9". There wasn't no damn 6'5" and under league. There was some dudes like 6'8". I'm like, dude, you're not 6'5". So
Yeah.
then I decided to go to Portugal for 2 years. And my first stop was Ireland, you know. So I forgot that I
Okay.
left that out. But I made
So
all
how?
those trips, and then I decided, let me try the CBA. Played a year in the CBA, thought I should have got called up. But my second year, my CBA, I was really killing, then I got called up. But people don't know, my first call up was to the 76ers. You know, that
Okay.
was my first call up. Around Christmas, I got a call. So it was great, man, because I got a chance to play with Charles Barkley, who was just great the little time
Yeah,
I
that was
was
gonna be my
there,
next
man.
question. Who was there when you went to Philadelphia?
All I
So
can
you had
remember
Charles
was
Barkley.
Sir Charles, it was Manute Bol, Hersey Hawkins, guys like that. But all I remember was Charles Barkley. I remember that first game we played in Phoenix. We lost, but Charles had 45 damn points. I'm like, this dude is a bad man right here. And it's
Yeah.
funny, he ended up going to Phoenix later on, you know, and
Yeah.
I ended up
Mm-hmm.
battling him in the playoffs. But Charles back then, Nick, was a great player and just a great teammate, man. He was
Mm-hmm.
just welcomed me to the team. I mean, he was just a good dude, man. For being a superstar at his level, I'm like, man, Charles Barkley's just bringing me in like I'm really on the team, which I was there only for 10 days.
Okay. All right. So so from college to the NBA, how many years did that take you to get to the NBA?
It took me, I got in at 20, did I get in at 26? Maybe four or 5 years, Nick.
Okay.
It was a long journey. I remember I was a little frustrated. My dad had passed away in '86. And I told my
Okay.
mom, I said, Mom, I'm just going to give CBA one more chance. And my
Mm-hmm.
mom said, go for it. And
Mm-hmm.
God bless me, Nick. It all just happened in that 1 year for me, man. Going to Philly, then getting cut, and then getting picked up by Golden State, where my high school teammate was there, Chris Mullin, and, you know, playing with Chris Mullin, Mitch Richmond, and Tim Hardaway. Being around those three guys on a consistent basis made me the pro I am today. Their worth ethic. You know, I
Mm-hmm.
remember us. I mean, I go to Golden State. You know, Don Nelson said, "I'm giving you 25 minutes. This is all you got. You got to show me what you got." It's like
Yeah.
that Eminem episode. You know, you got one shot, one chance.
One shot, one chance.
So I played 25 minutes in Denver, Nick. I get 14 points, 11 rebounds, and the rest is history. He
And the rest
signed
is
me to that.
history.
He signed me to the rest of that year and next year. And then I had success that year in the playoffs. We lose to the Lakers in the second round. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
thinking I'm Big Willie. I go home to New York in the summer, and I get a call like 3 weeks later, and it's Chris Mullin. He said, it's time to get to work. I'm like, what you talking about? It's summertime. I'm having fun. He's not, man. He said, this is when you get ready for the next season. And I
Yeah.
never forgot that lesson that man taught me. And it's the reason I wear number 17 is because of him. Because he taught me how to be the pro. He said, Mario, you don't get summers off. This is where you get better and when you improve. And I never forgot that. Working out with him, Mitch, and Tim all summer. We shooting. We're playing 2-on-2. We're playing 1-on-1. I got so much better being around those three. I credit them for my NBA success.
So number 17, that came from Chris Mullin. He wore 17.
Yeah, he wore 17. I couldn't wear it there because he was wearing it. So I made sure when I left Golden State and went to Portland, Houston, San Antonio, and Phoenix, I wore 17. And credit for him for showing me how to be a pro and how to prepare and how to last. I played with a lot of great players, Nick, growing up in New York. They lasted 3 or 4 years in the league. I lasted double figures. I lasted 11 years in the association, which is hard to maintain.
Yeah, you don't see guys, staying around for long. I mean, it's just like the NFL, not for long. And, when and me being the Barber to the Stars, and I'm getting to meet all of these players and athletes and stuff, and especially with the Texans.
Go ahead.
Especially with the Texans, it was one of those things. Tony Wiley kind of told me about this. He was an executive for the Houston Texans, and shout out to Tony Wiley because he was the one who actually got me that job working there. But he was like, man, I might get to know one of the players, and we getting cool and hanging out or whatever, and next thing you know, they gone, and you never see them again, and then it just continues to happen. And, same thing with basketball. We have players that are here, players that are there, and a lot of movement as far as trades and cuts and things of that nature. So which team did you stick? You had your first long-term deal with who? Golden State?
I just always signed like a 1 or 2 year deal. But my first major contract is when I left Golden State to play with the Blazers. That was my first $1 million deal, man. I was so excited. I went to Mercedes-Benz shop, nigga, got my red convertible that I still got to this day.
Yeah, is that the same one? You still got it?
Yeah, I still got it, dog.
Okay, yeah, with the red.
I'm getting it fixed up right now.
With the peanut butter interior?
Man, with the peanut butter, man. When people saw me with that joint, they were like, man, where'd you get that? It took me 9 months to get it, Nick. I ordered it when it first came out. It was the first 4-seat convertible. I remember being in New York. I saw I wanted either a red one or a blue one. So I remember playing in Minnesota. Who was I with? Yeah, I was with the Blazers. We had a game in Minnesota in March, and the dude from the Benz dealership called me and said, yo, man, we got a red convertible you've been looking for. Come check it, boy. I checked it out, Nick, boy. It was raining up in Portland, Nick. I threw the top down. I'm driving with my top down in the rain, bro. I didn't care. I said,
y'all gonna see me, baby. Y'all gonna see me. That's cool, man. That's cool. So I know you won 3 championships, 1 with the Spurs, 2 with the Rockets. So the 2 Rockets championships came first, right?
They did.
Yeah. So tell me about those couple of years. I had Tim Bro on the other day, and we briefly talked about you. He was telling me that he was on one of those teams, that second-year team of the back-to-back championships. Were you on both the teams back-to-back? Yeah, you were.
Of course, I was.
So yeah, tell me what that was like.
That was an amazing feeling, man, and I just remember, Nick, my summer with the Blazers. I drove down to see some people in the Bay Area, right? Then on my drive back, I said, let me get back up to Portland. I was going to head to New York. Then my phone rang, and it was the GM. He said, Mario, we just traded you to Houston. I'm like, man. I said, I'm going with Elijah Wood? Y'all traded me to Elijah Wood? Dude, you talking about a brother who packed quick, Nick?
I'm
out of Portland. I said, I'm going to H-Town? And then
who did you get traded for?
I got traded for a 2nd-round pick, man. You believe that?
Okay.
The Rockets got me for cheap. They lucky. But, I packed my bag so quick, Nick. And me and Vern was already friends from playing and competing against each other. So the transition.
Vernon Maxwell?
Yeah, the transition was great, man. Vern welcomed me with open arms. I mean, we went to training camp. We got a special group. A young Robert Ory, a young Sam Cassell, Kenny there, Otis there, Carl Herrera there.
Yeah.
So it started in training camp. We had great chemistry, Nick, coming out of that training camp in Galveston. And we came out the gate 15-0. We came out smoking that first year. So I felt really good about our squad.
So that's what I was going to ask you. Could you tell the difference, like when you first got there, like when training camp started? Could you tell that this team may have something?
Yeah, definitely, man. Practice was so competitive. Myself,
Yeah.
Sam, again, going at Kenny and Vernon. I mean, we would battle. We almost would fight at times out there. We were
Mm-hmm.
so competitive, but it made us better on the court. And what was even better about that squad, Nick, we were closer off the court. We like to eat with each other. We like to hang with each other. So that
Mm-hmm.
chemistry on and off the court really showed when we played together, man. And it was just a great group.
You
And to
talking
this
about
day,
Hakeem?
go ahead.
You talking about Hakeem? Maybe I don't know. Maybe about 6 years ago, um, I happened to run into him. I was playing basketball up at one of the gyms, and at one of the at Lifetime in
That's
Sugarland,
fine.
and he walked in. He and his brother walked in, and so we're playing, and just so happened he ends up on my team or I'm on his team. And I've heard you tell stories about him. Hakeem want that ball, he want the ball, give me the ball, and he was the exact same way. But if I made a good cut, he would give it up for me for the layup though. But I was having a good time. I'm dishing to the dream, getting assists every time. Because he calling for it. He posting up against his brother and everything. But that was a good experience. And we played probably about 3 or 4 games. He kind of gave me my props, gave me some daps, said, "Man, you had a good game, fella." So that felt good.
Yeah, that's one thing Dream is. He gonna ask for that rock 24/7, boy. If it's two or
Yes.
three guys on him, if I don't get the ball, then he gonna tap me in that shoulder. Mario, give me the ball. I'm like, Dream, there's two or
give
three
it,
guys on you. Mario, give me the ball. I'm like,
give
no
it a
problem, big
ball.
fella. If I got to throw it out of bounds and force it to your dog and get a turnover, I'm gonna give you the ball. That's what I did.
Yeah. So y'all won the first one. I'm not gonna say that one was easy, but I'm sure the second one had to be harder. What was that year like? Because everybody's coming for you now, right?
It was very hard because we had, like you said, we had a lot go through that year. Clyde, we traded for Clyde. I mean, we won with OT. That was
Mm-hmm.
sad that we traded for the big fella. So Clyde, a lot of guys were on the team angry that we got Clyde. So Clyde had to show that, he belonged on the squad. And I tell you what,
Mm-hmm.
Clyde came in hooping, Nick. Clyde was balling, a couple 40-point games, couple 30-point games. I like, this boy trying to get a chip. So we were real excited
Yeah.
about when he came. And we had the little drama with Vernon leaving in the middle of the playoffs in Utah. So that was a tough
Mm-hmm.
situation. So we just had a tough-minded group. I felt we had two of the top 50 greatest players on one team in Clyde and Dream. I felt if them two guys were healthy going into the playoffs, we had a chance. And we didn't have
Did
no home court.
did
Go
you
ahead.
play against was Dream? I mean, not Dream. Was Drexler on your team in Portland?
Me and Clyde played together in Portland also. So
Yeah.
we had some
Okay.
familiarity with each other. So I
Okay.
felt if we had those two guys going in the playoff series, they're as good as any two that's in the playoffs. And we had no
Mm-hmm.
home court. We played
Mm.
all the top two. We played 3 teams with 60 wins and the young Orlando Magic team that won 59. So we had the hardest road, Nick, out of any championship team in NBA history that 95 year.
Mm. And so let's go to the Spurs team. How did you end up with the Spurs after the Rockets?
Well, and me and Avery were good friends, and Avery thought I'd be a good addition to the squad. So it happened during the lockout year. That was a shortened season when we only played 50 games.
Mm.
So it was interesting because when I got to them and we finally got the season going, they had Jaren Jackson starting in front of me. No disrespect to Jaren Jackson, but I told Avery this is gonna be my job in 2 or 3 weeks. So we started off struggling. We started off 6-8, and Popovich makes a major announcement. He said, "We're making a change in the starting lineup.
Yeah.
We insert number 17 into that lineup.
Mm.
We go on a 14-game winning streak, and the rest
After
is
that.
history, Nick the Quiz. You already know. We go ahead
That's
with the
cool.
chip in the NY, you know. So
So who was on that team with you with the Spurs?
we had the great David Robinson, and we had the great Tim Duncan. We
Okay.
had Sean Elliott. We had
Okay.
Avery Johnson. We had Antonio Daniels. We had Malik Rose. We had Steve Kerr. I'm going to let everybody know Steve Kerr was
Yeah.
my backup. Let everybody know that. My backup, who's a super coach. That we had Will.
Had he played
Purdue.
in Chicago before that?
Yes.
Oh
He got
wow.
3 rings
Okay.
with Chicago, two with the Spurs, and now he got 3 rings with the Warriors. So
Okay.
he loaded up. But
Cool.
just a good group of guys there, Nick. Just professionals. I had to add a little rough and ruggedness to the squad because we had a bunch of really nice guys on the team. So
Yeah, I
here
know
comes,
you were really known for your intensity on defense, and I guess you were a ball stopper. Um, who was some of the guys that y'all really had some battles with back then that you really had a hard time guarding?
I mean, man, it goes. I mean, Gary Payton, Jimmy Jackson, Jamal Mashburn, Glenn Rice, Steve Smith. Uh, list goes on and on. Marley, uh, Def Les Shrimp, Percy Hawkins. I mean, that West back there was a beast, man. I mean,
It was a
young
beast
Brooklyn.
back then.
Yeah, it was a beast back there. There was always Phoenix, Utah, Seattle that we would always see in the playoffs all the time. You know, so battling those guys, man, especially that Seattle team,
Yeah.
because they were just nasty and tough like us and athletic like us. And that young Sean Kemp, boy, you see what young Sean Kemp is doing out there.
Yeah,
They
man.
call him
Yeah,
out
he.
Zion Williamson. Y'all better take a look at Sean Kemp before
I
Zion.
tell I tell cats that all the time. I say, man, I'm telling you, Sean Kemp was the one. I mean, he was flying through the lane, dunking all kind of ways.
Yeah,
You
man,
know,
I give that dude his props, and he was a problem for us back in the day, man. They had a really
how
good
long
squad.
were how long were you in San Antonio?
Just 2 years. It was towards the end of my career, you know. Then I went to Phoenix
Okay,
after that. So
okay. So they say Popovich is a really good coach. What was it like being coached by him?
it was fantastic. He's even a better person, Nick. That's the thing I
Okay,
like about Pop. He knew the pulse of his players. He knew what kind of players he wanted on his team. He would take players out to dinner. And I ended up coaching with Pop when I started my coaching career. Them coaching
okay.
dinners with the best wine, the best food at the best restaurants. He just knew how to bring people in groups together. He knew how to push people buttons. And
Hmm.
just a great coach. I'm glad for his success. And I'm glad he's finally the Olympic coach. I wonder what took so long with all his success that they now
Hmm.
finally making him the Olympic coach. No disrespect to Mike Krzyzewski, but I thought
Yeah.
Popovich should have been a Olympic coach long before his tenure. So I'm really
Mm.
happy for. I'm really happy for
So
him.
after you finished playing for 11 years or so, did you go right into coaching right after that, or how did that work?
I took a year off, Nick, to have my beautiful triplets, which turned 17 years old yesterday. So I want to thank
Yesterday,
God for
tell him
that.
I said happy birthday.
Will do, Uncle Nick. But then I
Yeah.
decided, the Spurs invited me just to go to training camp one year for them. So I went to training camp, I helped out with the coaching, and I really liked the process. So I told Pop if anything ever opened up, give me a call. They were booked that year. So a year
Hmm.
went by. I'm in LA with my family. Mike Brown takes a job with the Pacers So Popovich's first call is to me. So he
Good.
calls me in LA. He said, Mario, I got like 1 million people calling me about this assistant coaching position. I want to offer it to you. Do you want it? I'm like, dude, send me the paper. So and that's how my coaching career got started. The great
Yeah, I'm ready.
Popovich
I'm ready, coach.
called me in LA out the blue and said, do you want a job, boy? I jumped on
Baby, I
that.
just got a job.
I said, yeah, exactly. I got a job. So I was happy, man. And I always thank Popovich for getting my coaching career started. Him and R.C.
Yeah.
Buford.
So what was that like coaching? I know you coached for, several teams, a couple of teams, but talk to me about like the difference between playing and coaching and your preparation for the games.
Yeah, coaching is a lot more time to prepare because you got to have video ready. You got to get scout reports ready. You got film in the morning and shoot around. Then you got another film before the game. You got to write stuff on the board. You got to make sure when you're going over plays, you're knowing what you're talking about because some of these players are very intelligent and they will check you on occasion. So you got to make sure you're up on all your information. So when a coach has a team and you're playing that team, it's his walkthrough. So you'll sort of go over 5 or 6 plays of the team's main sets and how you go play it. So you got to be prepared, man. So I'll make sure I'm up
Did
all night, man, making sure my scouting report is on point, that the players understand it.
did y'all win a championship while you were coaching in San Antonio?
We did not. We did not,
Okay.
unfortunately. I was part of
Okay.
the San Antonio program when Fisher hit that shot at .6
Oh,
in
for the Lakers?
Ginobili's face when we were up 2-0. So I was
Okay.
part of that coaching tree. But I sort of left after that year. And, of course, after the next year, they went on and win the championship. So I made a big
Okay.
mistake by going somewhere else. I should have stuck it out with SA. I would have had a playing ring and a coaching ring, but you live and learn.
Yeah, you live and learn. What other teams did you coach for? I remember you were in Dallas with the Mavericks at one point.
I was with
And
Avery
who else?
Johnson in Dallas. I was with Paul
Uh-huh.
Westphal in Sacramento. I was with Mike Montgomery in Golden State. I was with Avery again in Brooklyn, New Jersey. And I was with
Okay.
Scott Skiles in Orlando. So I've been
You got a
around, man. It's
chance.
been fun.
Yeah. You got a
Coaching
chance
is
to
great.
coach at home, being from New York, being close to being with that team, right?
But, yeah, it was tough, Nick, because we were building the court in Brooklyn at the time, but we didn't have no practice facility in Brooklyn. So we would shoot around in New Jersey and play in Brooklyn. So that dynamic was very tough. You've been to New York, Nick. You know the
Mm-hmm.
traffic there. Just
Yeah,
driving
it's
around.
crazy.
Yeah, so right
It's
after
crazy.
shoot around, Nick, we would go straight to the arena. We didn't want to deal with that New York traffic around 3, 4 o'clock. So it
Yeah,
was
I get it.
tough. The logistics were tough at that time, but now they have the practice facility in Brooklyn. So a lot of the guys live in Brooklyn. So the practice facility there and the gym is there. So it's a lot easier now.
A lot easier.
Yeah.
And so you coached for a while, you played for some years, and you're kind of on hiatus right now. I know you're raising your triplets. What's that been like? Because I know they play basketball, and they're juniors in high school now at 17, and you got your 2 boys playing basketball and your daughter's playing volleyball. What's it been like training your boys to play the game like you played it?
Well, the most fun part, Nick, is being able to take them to school, take them to practice, watching the games. My daughter's a volleyball player, so we have AAU volleyball, high school volleyball. We got AAU basketball and AAU volleyball. So it's a bummer that I don't get to watch each of them play this summer. We had a great schedule set up for our AAU for both volleyball and basketball. But with this coronavirus, it sort of shot it down, which is a bummer because I love watching my kids play. And I've been away from my children for 10 years coaching. So these last couple of years been a blessing, really getting to know my family, getting to know the ins and outs, what my kids like and don't like. And being away from long distance is tough. So watching them grow into young men and women has been outstanding. My wife's been a soldier holding the fort down while I've been out of town, so I'm happy to spend time with her and be here to help her out. And it's just been amazing being home, Nick. It's great
Yeah.
being around the family. It energizes me. You know, I always wanted to have kids, and it's good seeing your kids live out their dreams, you know, and for them to love sports, that's just been a blessing. Really enjoy watching my daughter play volleyball. She has my intensity out there. She don't smile. She's serious out there. She takes the game serious. So, and my sons, I love watching both my sons hoop also.
So what was that like when you found out you were having triplets, to get that news?
That was hard, brother. I know. The doctor had called and said, you pregnant. I'm like, okay. Because we put, we went through in vitro to have our kids, you know. So
okay. So not one, not two, but three.
We put 3 eggs in. We didn't know how many eggs were going to, you know, last.
Gonna come out.
3 of them, God bless me with 3 beautiful kids. You know, I wouldn't have it any other way. I love all 3 of them equally to death. Great kids. I look forward to all their futures.
Well, good, man. So what are you doing to well, before coronavirus, what were you doing to stay busy, and what do you got coming up next?
Well, you know, like I said, I train my kids, work out my daughter. I'm working on some projects. It's hard now because I want to get back to work. You know, there's no sports going on right now because I'm a sportsman.
No movement.
So everything's on hold. So I'm trying to do some other things. I've been doing a lot of podcasts like I'm doing with you. Just to pass the time, you know. Definitely want to get back into coaching. You know, reached out to a lot of, you know, college and NBA people, telling them I'm available, want to get back. So just trying to nurture those relationships. Just want to get back to working again.
So going back to the NBA right quick, to those back-to-back championships, and you're famous for that crucial three-pointer that you made, and they, you know, call it the kiss of death. What made you just do the kiss like that, and to, you know, like that? You know, was that your deal, or that was your first time doing it, or what?
No, me and Joe Klein, it started from Game 5. Joe Klein, if nobody knows, is a center for the Phoenix Suns. Went to Arkansas, 6'11" center. And we were sort of getting under each other's skin, talking mess, so we started blowing kisses at Game 5. So we going back and forth. I would make a play, blow a kiss. He would make a play, he would blow a kiss. But unfortunately, Nick, in the Game 7, there's only one kiss. And that was mine. I got the last one. And as you see in the video, I was so focused on him. I blew him a kiss of death and just stared him down. And I really didn't feel my teammates jumping on me, excuse me. I was so focused on blowing my man the kiss of death. He was turning red as an apple over there, Nick. I just kept staring at him. And you see the death stare I was giving him. And I see Sam. I'm watching on the video, Sam, Kenny, everybody jumping on me. And I really didn't, you know, feel those guys. Because you caught up in the moment. And my moment was making the shot and looking at my man on the bench.
For sure.
About to cry like a little baby. So.
All right, man. Mario, man, I appreciate you coming on with me, man. Those are some good stories. Just wanted to bless you and your family, and y'all stay safe, and you know, stay out of harm's way the best you can. And again, this was just my way of, you know, letting my clients get to know some of my friends and clients, and hopefully, you know, some of them got something out of it today, hearing some of your NBA and your career stories. Y'all stay safe. Tell everybody I say hello, and I'm sure I'll see y'all pretty soon once all this is over with.
Well, I just want to tell everybody out there, Nick, you my man. Always great chopping up with you. Thank you for taking care of my boys for all these years. And now, you know, you see I'm growing a goatee, so you're going to have to trim me up a little bit.
Yes, sir.
And
yes, sir.
Nick, you said it, man. Social distancing. When you go to the store, put your mask on, your gloves on. The only way we're going to stop this virus, man, is stop passing it on to one another.
That's important. I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, stay safe out there. You know, get all your stuff you
Mm-hmm.
need and try to stay home. Let's social distance, please. We want to get back to our normal ways as soon as possible. My man Nick, BarberToTheStars, baby. Keep up the good work, man.
Appreciate you, bro. Kiss of death. Mario
You
Elie,
already know,
17.
baby. We out.
Already. All right.